Be sure to check out my store for the stuff I use and templates at a low cost, and get my everything pack so you can have everything in my store at a reduced cost, less than $20 if you tweet it out.
What's up guys, Qehzy here, bringing you guys another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create this abstracted fluid 3D text setup, I guess. And we're going to be doing this in Cinema 4D. I'm going to be using R17 version. You can do this in any version of Cinema 4D though. I'm also going to be using my own personal Lightroom and materials. If you're interested in those, check out the links in the description. Also, I'll be including download links to the Cinema 4D file down below for my Patreon subscribers. And yeah, so this is basically what this render looks like. Here's like a metallic metal version, and then oops, let me pull up, and yeah, that's like the basic white version with less material. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So here is kind of the setup, and I'm gonna just group this all together and hide it, and boom, let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is go to MoGraph, MoText, and like I said, this is my personal Lightroom. If you're interested, check the description below. And we're gonna do text that says abstracted. We'll bump it to a depth of 60. Caps, fillet cap, 1, 1 for both the radiuses. And then let's go pick a font. Now this will take a second to load. There we go, and we want to find the font. It's like something BE. I went past it. BEY something. I forget exactly what it's called. But I'll have a link to this in the description. Here it is. It was like Benno. I don't know if that's a T or a Y. Beno. So that's the font. I'll try to link it in the description. And then let's go to MoGraph Effector Random. Go to parameter. Just bump the position down to like single digits for each one here. So I'm gonna go 8, 7, 7, and then we're gonna check rotation. Go slightly negative, and slightly negative. And then let's duplicate both the random effector and the MoText. Go to the duplicated random and go to the bottom here where mine says -7, and just go slightly positive. And then just go to the other ones and change them slightly, either a little more negative or a little more positive. Go to the duplicated MoText. We're gonna click right here to change our view, and we'll zoom in here a bit and just bring it back behind the first layer of text. Let's go back to the main view. Now I'm gonna get my materials from my material V5 pack, this one, and it's in the abstract section, I believe. Yes. So the swirled metal, and then from the colors I'm gonna use I guess I'll use the blue one this time, number 3. So let's go back, go to objects. We're gonna add the metal to the first text and the blue to the second text, like that. And then if you like the text long like this, you can leave it like that. I thought the abstracted text was a little too long, so I broke it up with or the first 5 letters, abstra, on top, and then acted on the bottom. So if you want to do something like that, you can click the MoText, press C, the other one C, delete the random effectors, open these up, drag the material to the abstracted null, and then take both of these out like that. Delete the MoText, expand these, select the first 5 letters here, take them out, and the first 5 here, take them out. And while we have these selected, we're gonna right click, group, and then we'll group the other ones here, group, and minimize that. So now this is like the first part, and then these two are the second part. But we just gotta add the materials. So we'll click from here, press Command, drag up, and then the same thing here, Command, drag up. And there we go. Now let's just, actually no, they're already separated. Let's take these two, bring them slightly in, slightly up, and then take the other two, bring them down and slightly in. And if you come over here, let me just line this up. Over here, click this, kind of like the angle, like it's kind of like the XY axis thing. And if you click that, you can bring your axis over, and you just want to put it at the left edge of the bottom text. Check it again, and then go to rotate. Rotate it slightly back, then do the same thing for the other two. Bring it to the right though. Click it again, rotate, rotate it the other way, just slightly, and there we go. There's kind of the text set up, and you can rotate that in different ways, however you want. Next thing we want to do is go to the spline and get an arc, and I'm just going to go ahead and get the scale tool and scale this up, and then bring it down something like this. Then I'm going to go to Plugins and get Reaper X. If you don't have Reaper X, I'll have a download in the description. It's free. You just download it and drag it to your Plugins folder. And we're going to click that and drag the arc into there. Select the Reaper X. Change the strands to 1. Increase the radius pretty big. We'll go like 200 some. And drop the coils down quite a bit. You could add a few if you want some interesting looks. We'll stay at 1. Distance you can mess with 2 if you wanted to kind of offset and whatnot. And let's go to options, actually strands. And we want to go to scaling and drag that down to about 10%, like that. So now we got like this kind of tube cone thing. And then we can go ahead and bump up rotating. This will just add a different, like a slight look. Like you might not even notice it depending on where it's positioned, but it does just keep it from being straight, which I like. Now let's click the arc spline, and we're gonna actually make it slightly bigger yet. And then go to the move and bring it over. We'll go change our view again and bring it back now, behind our text like so, and then we can finally rotate it, not like that. Let's pop out of the camera view real fast, and actually let's do this thing again where we change the axis. Oh, it's not gonna let me, is it? Okay, we can do it on the Reaper X. So we'll put it like there, rotate, let me come up, maybe do it like that, and bring it back. Hop into the camera, that's a pretty good spot, I like that. And we can add one of our materials. You can either do the metallic or the colored material. We'll do the colored one here, and let's duplicate the Reaper X and rotate it another way. You can just kind of go random if you want to see what happens, or pick out an angle that you like. So maybe something like, oop, trying to get it, there we go, something like that, and bring it over with a little too much. There we go, something like that. And you can again do that as a colored material, or grab the metal material and replace it like that. I actually think I like the blue on that, and we'll do one more and rotate it. We should actually bring it down a little bit and rotate it randomly. Maybe like put it there, add a metal, and we could do that a few more times or as many times as you want. I think that's pretty good. Now, one of the easiest things to do is just to add some spheres. So one thing you can do is grab a sphere and simply just put it like right next to text like that. Slap on a metal material, maybe duplicate it, make it smaller, put one over here, or maybe put one like the C. Okay. Maybe like that, and add the blue. Or you can do a thing. Let me just duplicate this, go to MoGraph Cloner, drop it into the cloner, select the cloner and do grid array. Again, have the cloner selected, go to MoGraph Effector Random, and now you can just mess with the settings. So we'll spread out the X really far, the Y really far, and the Z really far. And let's go into the sphere and we'll just make it smaller. So now there's a bunch of just random spheres, and you can even go into the random and change the scale and do a uniform scale and just kind of play around with it. So like -3.6, and now they're just kind of random sizes and sprinkled throughout. Alright, now let's just add some more random fluid shapes, and my favorite way to do this is by going to the objects, and you can get any object you want. I'm going to use a platonic, and I'm going to just bump up the size. I'm not going to change the type, but you can to get different stylings of this. Then go to the deformers, get a displacer, put it inside the platonic, go to, make sure you have the displacer selected, go to shading, hit this drop down and go to noise. Now you can click the noise thumbnail, come in here, click this drop down arrow, and you have a bunch of different noises you can select. I'm gonna select this like third one that's pretty dark, and then let's hit this up arrow to go back and go to object and change the height. We'll go, I don't really like this one, let's change it. We'll do that second one and go back, and let's change it to, we'll go slightly negative, so like that. Oops, it went back to the standard. Alright, like that. Pretty different shape, pretty abstract. This is kind of how you'd create abstract polygons and stuff, but what we're going to do is go to the subdivision surface, get that, and drop the platonic in there. Now you can see it's pretty rough here, but if we go to the subdivision and go to subdivision editor and bump it up a few, you can see it looks a lot better, and you can see 5 is really smooth. Now if I render this, it should render smooth, but I noticed when I was duplicating all these, eventually it would be pretty rough and not as smooth. So if it gets rough and you can see all the individual polygons, you can go to the subdivision, right click, C4D tags, and just get a Fong, and that will make sure it is smooth. And now we can just play with this, maybe change the size, you can bump it up, it will change its shape slightly, but I'll leave it there for now and maybe bring it back behind the text, add some color, and we'll duplicate it, go to the platonic, increase that size, go to displacement, maybe go positive, and actually we can probably bring down the size a little bit then, and we'll move it to a different spot, maybe up there, and put some rotation on it. You can see the material is going to be all messed up on this one, but that actually can kind of create a cool look, so you can keep that or change it if you want to get like smooth looks. And we'll select both these subdivision surfaces, duplicate them, replace them with the other material, whether it's a metal or a white, and we'll just rotate both of these. That one completely went mental, and move it to a different spot. Maybe we move it up here, something like that. And you can do that with various shapes as many times as you want to get whatever sort of looks you want. You can see I did a few more of the Reaper X's, I think, in this one, rather than the random fluid shapes. But obviously you can go ahead and do whatever you like. Now the final thing I did, actually the second to last thing, I went and got a circle spline, got another circle spline, and then got some SweetNURBS. And what you want to do with those is drag both the circles into the SweetNURBS. The top circle, you want to go to its radius and bump it down. Somewhere in the single digits, 9 looks pretty good. And then the circle, you want to bump it up to about, something like that works. And then you can add either the metal or white material or the colored material. I'll add the colored material here, and we'll duplicate it. Go to the top circle again, and actually, or go to the bottom circle and expand the radius maybe. Add the metal material and rotate it. Something like that, kind of like an orby look. And then you can minimize those SweetNURBS, and actually I'm going to bring them to the bottom with our nulls. So this is all our text with some SweetNURBS, and then I'm going to select everything else above it. Right click, group, and Command C, Command V to duplicate. I'm going to pop out of our view here and just move everything back then. And you can do really anything here. You can just go ahead and randomly rotate stuff, or you can just like move it over here or over there, and just kind of mess about so there's more in the background. I'm going to go ahead and rotate everything like so, and maybe bring it up, and then we'll duplicate it again and bring everything down, and we'll go to the right. And then you can go ahead and individually move stuff. So maybe this I want like that. This, maybe I want it up. Maybe bring this one. Come on, let me select it. Bring this one down. Grab this guy, bring it over, and boom, there you go. There's a pretty good setup, and we can go ahead and click render. Boom, there is our fluid abstract render, and that's basically it. I also did a Photoshop part of this, where I kind of created something like this guy. If you're interested in seeing that, maybe I'll make a part 2. Just let me know in the comments down below. But hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial. Hopefully you can create some sweet headers or banners with this text setup style. If you enjoyed this, please drop a like, subscribe for more tutorials. Be sure to check all the links in the description for all the stuff I used, or to download this file. Anyways guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.